Alright guys, what's up? I'm gonna be doing a tier list video for this patch. So this is season 15, right? And I figured I'll do this tier list a bit earlier because I think there's gonna be like a patch coming like mid-May, maybe end of May. And I've been playing ranked in Summit a lot, so I have a decent idea of what's actually good or bad this patch. So this is a tier list for ranked, and what you might see in competitive might be completely different because they play differently. But this is only a tier list for like getting climbing the ladder, and also I don't really what's the word? I don't really like take into account what elo you're in. So I'm just assuming, like in the absolute sense, which are the best heroes to climb. So if you were the master on that hero and if you're a master on a tier 1 hero and you like mastered the game, then you would climb to the absolute highest possible elo in Summit, which is like 2100. But let's say a tier 2 or tier 3 hero, even if you mastered it, you would still win games and you could still climb to a Conquer or 1800. That doesn't make the hero bad. It just makes that hero slightly worse than that 2100 hero, but you could still climb to 1800, if you master the strengths and weaknesses of that hero. Anyways, that's a lot of blah blah. I figured the best way is that I would split the tier list by role, and if this recording goes on too long, I'll just split this video into several parts. But in any case, if anyone has time, like maybe Nick, maybe you can do like a visual tier list so it's easier for people. But now I have to do this scuff way where I just go by one, okay? So let's start with top lane. So when I say top lane, there's always, what you guys have to understand about top lane is there's actually like, you can have two top lanes, right? So you can have like side lane, like you can have two bruisers, which is preferred, or you can have an ADC and bruiser. So the thing with side lane is that the matchup is everything. Like if you have a winning matchup, so the tier 1s always have winning matchups, and when you have the winning matchup on side lane, you can always roam earlier or do things or get the crab, etc. So the tricky thing about side lane is you could have a hero put in tier 2, but because you don't go top lane versus the ADC, maybe you go bot lane, which is safer, then that hero can suddenly become strong, right? So let's take, for example, like, let's just random example. Like, let's say one of your side lanes is this hero, and the other side lane is this hero, so you don't have ADC, right? But if this hero goes top and has to face the ADC, then he loses that lane. But if he goes bot, and he faces some random tank, he's probably gonna win. And then this guy goes top versus ADC, he's probably gonna kill the ADC at level 1. So you see, like, just a simple lane change can put these two heroes suddenly like tier 1 in on your team. But if this guy went top and this guy went bot, then suddenly these two heroes might seem like a tier 3 hero, you know what I mean? So you have to take that into consideration. When I put heroes into like high tier, I'm assuming, or I feel like they can deal with most matchups. ADC matchup, they can go top or bot, and they have like a winning matchup against most of the cast. So lower tier heroes, they can still be good because you can put them in several matchups that let them win, but like you can't. It's just harder to master them, right? Anyway, so for tier 1, how should I do this? Yeah, let's go by tier, okay? So tier 1, I haven't really like crystallized what I'm gonna say. Anyways, tier 1, there's this hero. He can one-shot all AD carries at like level 1 or 2. And level 4, his roaming and ganking is super solid. So he's gonna be tier 1 in my opinion. A common theme you'll notice in tier 1s is that they all have some form of gap closer, very safe against ADCs, and they have sustain in lane. So his passive heals him, right? So this guy, he's very mechanically hard to play, like super hard. Like it's very hard to combo his spells well and to know when to go in. But if you master him, then it's too easy to win rank. His only weakness is he can't like solo carry. Like you still have to rely on your team with the boat. So as a result, you would see him more and more in the higher elos, but in maybe Masters or Obsidian, you'll he'll seem weaker. Okay, who else is tier one? This is a tier one as well. And the reason why I put her in tier one is because she has superior laning ability. She clears the wave first, and she has no losing matchups because against melee, she just puts her vacuum on the ground, and you can't do anything against her pool, right? If you auto attack her, she just sucks your mana. So, like, she might not be absolutely powerful, but she's so safe. She can win against every matchup, and she doesn't have a single problem against AD carries or against the melee matchup. So, her only issue is mana, right? But you can manage that as a good player. So she's a tier one. It's just maybe you could argue, oh, she doesn't do enough damage or she always needs blue, but I don't really care. Like, you can play her against anything, so this is a very safe pick. Another tier 1 is probably this guy, but maybe he's 1.5. I'm not sure because I don't see much of him, but he's simply just super annoying. Like, he's the better version of this, right? And he has no problem against the ADC lane if you're good with him, as we found out with his S1 and S2 combo. And he sustains very well, so he's pretty annoying. He's a tank, right? But still against ADC it's kind of hard. But if he has to play against two bruisers, it's just yikes, man. Good luck. So this is a tier 1 in a non-ADC matchup, like non-ADC on both side on the enemy side, and then maybe tier 2 if he has the lane versus the ADC. Any else tier 1? Let's look really quickly. This guy I would put like, so he's like 1 to 3, right? If you're like an absolute god and you're just insane, you have 1,000 games on this guy, he's tier 1. There's no question about it. He has infinite knockback, right? But if you're just playing to kind of, you're okay, then he's obviously tier 2 or 3. So he's like a 1 to 3 kind of deal. But obviously his potential is very high. Any other tier 1s? This is a tier 1 as well, in my opinion. They buffed her last patch to do more damage to jungle camps, so actually she can sustain in lane as well. And the reason why I put her in tier 1, even though maybe in KPL you never see her or she's like a tier 3, is she has the sustain, right? So she's a lane bully. She bullies the AD carry, she bullies the bruiser lane as well. So if you play her perfectly, you can't lose because you just outplay everyone. I know I have a friend, he played 38 games of this girl in Summit and he won 37 of them. So he got to 1850 just by playing this hero. Like, that should tell you how insane this hero is in ranked or like in Summit. Like, maybe not in coordinated play, but in ranked, oh, if you master this hero, it's just you pull 2-3 people to your lane. And she has the winning matchup against everyone. I don't know a single hero she doesn't win against, right? She even beats like she shits on this hero. So this is like, it's just, I don't know. Like, maybe you could argue that it takes a lot of skill to play her, but I don't feel like it. It's just about decision making. It's not very mechanically difficult. Anyway, so definite tier 1 in my eyes. Any other tier 1s? Let's see. This is a tier 1 as well. But he pop stomps very hard. So maybe up to 1800 he's an absolute tier 1. Even up to 1900, 2000. His lane presence is just, it's like he's a very big lane bully, right? And if you master him well, his ult is a 5-second cooldown, so he can literally 1v5. So this guy, like, up to 1900 he would be tier 1, and then he would be like tier 2 or 3 because people up there know how to like play against him. But still, he's it's just his lane pressure is insane. This guy's also a tier 1, but he could be tier 2 sometimes because he has the disarm mechanic, right? So if the enemies don't have anything that need a disarm, like if you play this guy in light form of this guy absolutely crushes this guy. It's insane. So if the enemy has a disarm, like if you disarm this guy, like if you disarm an ADC, that's super good. And he has very good laning. Like he can always first blood. So this is a tier 1. But if the enemy doesn't need disarming, and then he can be tier 2. Like he falls off pretty hard. So this is like let's say a 1.5 for now. But it always depends on the elo, right? Up to 1600, 1700, he's an absolute tier 1, like horror. Like it's terrorism. So yeah. Any other tier 1s? And then there's this guy. So this guy is hard to put in the tier list because he always sustains in lane and he doesn't really win any lane, but he doesn't really lose any lane. But this kind of stability is really like welcomed. So if you're not that good, or like if you don't have any laning like experience top lane, just play this guy. He's probably like tier 1.5. He has very strong stats, very strong sustain. The only weakness with him is he is very like his range is short, but flash can make up for it. And the second is he has some mana issues, but that's okay because if you don't spam his spells in lane, there's no problem. This is like a tier 1.5. I feel like people don't play him not because he's bad, but they don't want to be known as that noob guy because this guy's kit is very simple, right? So there's like a stigma around playing him. Yeah, so that's tier 1. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, this guy is also tier 1. But this guy's very hard to play. So he's tier 1 because, again, like I said before, and you'll see me repeating it over and over again, the concept of side lane. He has sustain, he wins most matchups, he doesn't have any issue against AD carry, and he has a gap closer. So this is a perfect tier 1. But the problem with this guy is he takes a lot of skill. Like it's really hard to play him. Like he's very squishy, right? And you have to master his S1 flicker combo, which is very hard. He's very hard to play. Like it's not a joke. So you have to actually be mechanically solid. But he's a tier 1 because of that. Okay. Oh my god. This is longer than I expected, so I'll just upload part by part. What's next, right? Tier 2. Tier 2, let's see. So I feel like this patch, tier 2 is kind of like, you can smush a lot of people in tier 2. I feel like this hero is a tier 2 that no one respects. So they changed his passive a while ago. So now when he revives, he doesn't lose like all of his armor. He just loses like 50 of it. So he's very tanky when he's reviving. And he can one-shot AD carries, and he does very well against the AD carry lane. So this is like a kind of a sleeper pick right now. So I put him in tier 2, and I think people will agree. He's just a very good control, very good damage. And then this guy serves the same function as this girl. You have to view him as a split pusher who never dies and then goes like 1-0-1. So I feel like he's a tier 2, but it's very hard to see his strength. It's very hard to play him. But I've seen server best Panda, this guy, you call him Panda, I guess, at 1900. So I realized like he has very good potential. But this guy and this guy are all slept on. But I will put them in tier 2. So if you want to learn like a split pushing style, attack speed based AD, this is a very good choice. But I think she does his job kind of better, but he has some strengths as well. But anyways, yeah. He dominates the ADC lane with his shield and dominates the bruiser lane. If you play well, that is. Who else is in tier 2? I would put this guy in tier 2, but you don't see him top lane anymore. And the reason why I put him there is because he deals very well with the ADC lane. Even if you suck on this hero, you just shoot the laser at the wave, man. You hit the ADC nice. You hit him 3 times, wow, the ADC has to go back home. And the item supporting him now, like the item that gives mana regen, is very good. So yeah, this is a solid tier 2 pick. Maybe no one will agree, and most people don't even know that he can be played top lane. But I've seen it very often in high elo, and it's actually very good. It seems like a meme, but nah, it's good. Okay, who else is in tier 2? So this guy is a big question mark. I know before I said he's in tier 1, but no one has played him yet. So, big yikes. And people play him in jungle, so I think I'm not gonna list him in my top lane tier list. Yeah. Oh, so tier 2, okay. Let's go on tier 3, okay? Tier 3 would be those heroes that you think were strong, but they've fallen off. So this guy is tier 3. He shits on ADC, right? But his laning is very difficult versus ADC now. So, and he can't really beat bruisers. So he's kind of a tier 3 and 2, but you still have to play a lot of games on him to get that return. So I think he's a tier 3. People make him look like a tier 2 or 1 because they have a lot of games on him. But yeah. And then the other person who's forgotten is Mulan. So probably a tier 2 to 3-ish as well. And the reason why people make her look like a tier 2 is because they have thousands of games on her. But she loses versus ADC and she loses against Bruiser. It's not a very nice lane. And she's skill capped at 1900. You can't go higher than 1900 with this hero. So yeah. Let's see. This is also a tier 3-ish, but this is also because people are one-tricking her in top lane. But that's just don't worry about that. Anything else? Did I say this guy? Oh, sorry, I forgot. This is a tier 2. So his shield got nerfed, and he's doing very bad versus the ADC lane, which people have started to catch on. So he has to go bot. Against the ADC lane, he just gets bullied. And he can max shield and do nothing against the ADC, go even. But do you really want to just go even, right? You want to win the lane and carry. This is a tier 2. But bot lane, he still wins some matchups. So it's a very like user-friendly pick. So pick him. But for sure, definitely you can't carry the game with him. Like it's not a carry hero. So yeah. Oh, so we were talking, and this is also a tier 2. So this guy is he's just falling off. He's doing worse against ADCs, and it's just, I don't know. He's a tier 2. Not 1 anymore because people have, caught on and, people are playing better and people know the matchup better. And because ADCs are very strong now, so yeah. This is also a tier 2. Maybe 1 in dark form, but I haven't tested dark form this season yet in very high elo. And then his light form is tier 2 because in light form he doesn't win a lot of matchups anymore, but still the damage on his ult is incredible. In dark form, his split pushing ability is very strong, and I think it's still very, very strong, and it's very hard to shut him down. So tier 2. And the rest of the heroes are I'm not going to explain them, but the rest are tier 3. Like, this is a tier 3, or even 4. Ignore this guy, ignore this guy. This guy's a tier 3. He's very easy to play. Same. This guy is good for pub stomping. Ignore this guy. Ignore. Well, you can play him, but don't. This guy, it's too hard for him to scale. Go just play him in the jungle. This guy does no damage top lane, but fine, do it. The ADCs bully him, but he's supposed to bully ADCs. This guy is a 2.5 because he can make plays. And if you're actually skilled and understand how top lane works, then he's very good. He can trade with anyone, actually. But yeah, 2.5. And his ult is devastating in team fights, so 2.5. This guy I haven't seen anymore, but there was a lot of talk about him being side lane. So maybe I'll put him on the tier list once I see him play, but I'm not sure where he goes now. Probably around 3. Anyone else I've missed top lane? No, right? I think that's... Oh, and this guy, right? Wait, ruined it. Stop. How can I... Anyways, I'm about to cut the clip, but you saw the hero I clicked, right? So the mountain guy, so this guy, he's probably around tier 1.5, but maybe as I explained in the patch notes, he's very binary, right? He's like super what's that word? I don't know what that word is. He's bipolar basically. He either has a very solid matchup against the enemies or he's complete crap, right? And he's probably around tier 2. But he wins against a lot of laners, right? He has no issue versus ADCs. Against bruisers, he just simply flips them and outdamages them. And he pushes the wave decently, and he heals the tower now, and he has the sustain from healing inside the tower. So yeah, this is a pretty good tier 2 top. But he's very boring to play, of course, to some people. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed my first video. This is top. And then I'll be going to jungle, then mid, then ADC, then support. So I'll see you guys next time.